Hello and welcome to the Lee Valley Whitewater Centre, just outside London. World Cup 1 ICF Canoe Slalom and it's finals day. We are waterside. We're going to talk you through the action for the next hour or so. It's going to be the canoe single men, followed by the kayak single women. I'm Matthew Layton as ever. But this is slalom at its highest level. C1 men, this is a who's who of top paddlers. So number one means that he's the effectively top athlete from last year.
And the year before as well. It's a cumulative over 2 years, I think.
Yeah, Siddy, he knows this course inside out, the Olympic silver medalist from 2012 here at London Olympic Games, and he'll be looking to really capitalise on that previous result and try and go one better today.
There's a bit of a breeze out there, swinging some of the poles.
Yeah, they're not easy conditions this weekend, especially yesterday. It was super windy and raining, so I really felt for some of the foreign guys, but it was ideal conditions for us.
When you watch Sedaris' style here, he doesn't tend to go as tight to the gates as a lot of the other top competitors. You can see with the Germans, when they want to go fast, they tend to go in the middle of the gates and just pull as hard as they can, which is a little bit against how normal top athletes would go fast in a course. Opting for that spin move there really, really well, looking to connect well on this stopper final and pull through to the finish.
He got a little stuck in the stopper there, couldn't get his nose down properly, but he flew into first. I think that's the fastest time so far today, so he'll be really, really stoked with that.
Well done, Sidiris Tassiadis, for taking the gold. Adam Burgess, silver. Ryan Wesley, bronze. And you can see the other athletes who close, but not quite up there. So excellent results for all athletes. And it is crucial. Sidiris and Adam have taken the advantage in their national qualifications.
It's amazing to win the first World Cup again in the row, like the last year and the year before. It's amazing. I have to give my best to be faster than the Great Britain guys.
So my name is Robin Jeffrey. I competed in, now I'm forgetting, canoe slalom in C1 and C2. And now I'm coaching. Now the fun begins. Now I get to have see how people work on the other side of the bank. It wasn't an easy transition from being an athlete to a coach. I thought it was going to be easier than it was, but yeah, just that going from being it all about me to being all about my athletes. It's been a challenging but really enjoyable experience. It was always a dream of mine to be a coach, and I love that side of it, especially at that stage I was working more with juniors. I didn't expect to be in this position as early as I am, but I had a great opportunity and I've had so much support from the Australian coaches and high performance staff with Paddle Australia, so it's been an amazing opportunity. A coach can have a huge impact on a paddler's career, and it depends on the athlete's learning style, how they progress, how they want to race, and so the coach has to find that right balance. So whether it might be a little bit more didactic initially to give them the information, and then gradually stepping back so that they become far more autonomous and really take control of their own journey. Like you see the best here. And the best coaches are very kind of hands-off, whereas some of the more junior athletes, they might need a little bit more encouragement. So you just have to relate it to where that athlete is at that moment. I think it can be a good thing and a bad thing to have been an athlete as a coach, because there are times where you're projecting your own mistakes or your own self onto the athlete. So to say that they're not me, I need to tailor my instruction, my feedback, my feed forward to suit that athlete, and not bring my own past is really crucial. And that's where perhaps not being an athlete in the past gives you an edge. It's such a huge achievement for an athlete to make it to the games, and as a coach, I can enjoy that experience myself in helping them to achieve that goal. So it's something that really excites me, and I'm really looking forward to forming that relationship and keeping that partnership going with whoever the Australian boat is at the Olympics next year.
We'll see what happens in the final, because people will be taking much tighter lines to go as fast as they can. We have such a cool final lineup though. We have Mylin Shrew, who's the reigning Olympic champion. Amelie Hilgertova is the reigning European champion.
Anyway, let's see how the locals hope for today. That she's in the zone. Look at that. No one can be more in the zone than Mallory.
Yeah, Mallory had a difficult time in qualification. She had to do her second run, but she held off the pressure there, put down a really good time. Oh, so nice into the first upstream. You can see her carrying the speed out again. Mallory's really long and rangy, so she's going to use the water as well as she can and just use her strength off the back of that. Super nice upstream in 6.
Broke into the national senior team, was it at 12 or 13 years old, so let's see how she can keep that going. Senior level, let's see.
Oh, it's so nice and she's a second up on the split. Oh, you can hear the crowd from outside, it's so loud. And she's just come onto that wave about halfway through, so she didn't take the same time penalty there as everybody else.
This is good. She's pulling away from the crowd.
Yep. You can see her using the energy. She's going to sweep this upstream and come out super tight. This is really nice. You can see her balancing out the angles of the boat. Super light through here. Nicely into the spin and onto the wave. I think we're going to see sub 100. A little sticky in the last gate, but she can be safe there. Sprinting to the finish. Maybe she's going to go under 100. 2.5 seconds up, and she takes the maximum Olympic points from this race.
That's a win and ahead of the competitors. Here we have the classification say Mallory Franking takes the gold, Ricarda Frank takes the silver, Jessica Fox takes the bronze medal, with Kim just missing out. Mylin Shrew, Eliska, Eva, Amelie, Claudia and Stephanie all making the final, which is great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a struggle for me mentally. Spitting out all right runs, but just not really feeling as in control of the process as I'd like. But yeah, today was amazing, and to put down that kind of run's great, and I'm glad that I finally managed to do it. Yeah, definitely, and definitely those kinds of runs, like our domestic selection, I wasn't putting down that kind of stuff, and yeah, kind of spat out in third, and the other girls are paddling really well. But yeah, it's great to get that win under the belt, and yeah, to win the World Cup as well is amazing.
Am I looking at Ross? Well, clearly 2019 is an important year. It's the pre-Olympic year, and for many teams it's the start of their Olympic selection process. Well, I think what we see are plenty of different approaches to selecting a team for an Olympic Games, and we've seen an evolution. I think the classic model was wait till the year of the competition and then select the best athletes with a domestic round, and what we're seeing is a trend towards international selection, so using the results of key benchmark events, World Championships and World Cups, even European Championships, as a determining factor, so taking into account the international performance, not just the domestic performance. in the selection process, I think we and other countries tend to look at the consistency, the ability to produce performances over time, and not just a one-off. So I think that's a factor in most approaches, not just one race and one result. But ultimately, it might come down to that, and often it does. The final, the best 2 out of 3 races, or it's down to this run to secure the qualification quota. I don't think there's a secret formula to it, and I think the objectivity of performance is what we see as a major theme throughout. Of course, it's challenging when you've got three athletes doing the same event in a World Cup or in a World Championships, knowing that only one of them can go to the Olympic Games. That is a challenge within the sport. A few years ago, we had more than one quota opportunity per category. So, as to how that divides, or challenges relationships, I think that comes down to the individuals involved. But at the end of the day, you're on your own on the course, so I think there's respect there within a team towards the competition, and the tougher the challenge, the deeper you've got to dig to come out on top, and with that comes respect for the performances. But we're certainly going to see some good athletes left on the bench. That goes without saying, and we've seen that previously. And 2012. A good example for the French. Tony Estanguet had to beat the current world champion Denis Gargaud in order to go to the Olympics in London, and 4 years later, of course, Denis got the spot and went on to win himself. So that's the sort of challenge, I think, for some of the teams. Here we are in London. Next week we're in Bratislava, then it'll be Tarzan, Markkleeberg, Leipzig, and finally in Prague for the World Cups, and La Seu-d'Urgell for the World Championships. So some teams are using maybe all of those races, some just 1 or 2, but everyone counts, and I think it's going to be an exciting year.
Just looking down here, obviously I know a lot about how the British selection series is happening. So yeah, this counts as race 2 of Olympic selection. All 3 girls in the final, and yeah, it's a straight race off between those 3 for who can take the honours. And I'm sure, yeah, I know lots of other nations are using this one to select their Olympic boat for next year as well. I'm sure Mallory's more than capable as well. She'll know the time that Kimberly has set. She'll know that she also set the same time in the semi-final, so she knows she's capable of doing it.
The asterisk has come off Jess Fox, so Jess is in silver place at the moment. So Kimberly, 1:07.45.
She keeps the speed to the first upstream very fast. A little bit too much on the stopper, but
I think it's still pretty good, and we've seen a couple of people be up on Kimberly's first split. So let's see how she can get this spin. Kimberly was very good here and very quick in the next upstream as well. Mallory
that was
matching her there, stroke for stroke.
She's looking very strong. Good upstream here, number 12.
Pivots around on 1 stroke and sets up this gate 13. You've seen lots of penalties on this gate. Can she press the bow underneath it? Yeah, just moves off it. That looked clean. A little bit of time given away.
1:07.45.
She sprints to the finish. It's going to be tight.
No,
And finishes just in front. Wow.
106.
Wow. And you see Kimberly there in the finish area, really hard for that to take, but,
but to be beaten by the best time of the day.
Very gracious in defeat there. You see her giving a teammate a round of applause.
So, well done, Mallory Franklin taking the gold. Kimberly Woods takes the silver, and Jess Fox is, with her 4 penalties, still able to take a bronze medal.
I mean, I was quite nervous, but I've had a good weekend before this. I think I just wanted to try and put a run together I was proud of. And yeah, Kim's time was really good, and it was on my mind a bit, but I knew that there was a bit in my run from the semis, and I just wanted to try and tweak those little bits and see what time I could put out.
It's such an amazing final to see so many ex-world champions lined up and the current reigning world champion, but also to see some kind of new names as well. Some younger guys who really pulled it out of the bag for the semi-finals, so it's super cool to see what they can do.
But here goes the man with the biceps.
He's looking really relaxed on the start line. He's an expert on London. He knows exactly what he needs to do. And he's really, really strong.
And even though he couldn't train his biceps too much in the gym lately because of some issues, I mean, he's paddling awesomely.
So he's not really done a turning stroke yet. He's just going with the water. Super easy. You can see him relaxing now as we come into this nicer section where it's a little easier to keep the boat on the water.
So he's putting on exhibition so far.
Yeah. He's not stressed. You can see
1.73 seconds up. He's a superb athlete.
And he's so relaxed.
Still a minute, a second up.
And he's stuck in the starboard.
Time to go for the win is 91.2. Chris Bowers is on 92.65.
He's a little heavy through here. He's going to have to really gun it for the finish to get a medal. And he's going 90, rank 1.
Wow. Well, that's just it's just an absolute class act. Was that massive error in the middle part and then still win it. And when you talked about mental preparation, you know, this was just a show how he loves the pressure situation.
So Joe Clark, Great Britain, gold. Yuri Priskovic, Czech Republic, silver. Hannes Egner, Germany, bronze.
Surprised I actually did it with the mistake I had. But I think there's just enough time elsewhere in the run to absorb that. I ran the oval section, really struggled. That's when the kind of arms come into their own, I guess. And train on here every day, you kind of get that strength and the feel for when you can still do it. So pushing hard to the end, and it was enough today. And nice to be joined by Yuri and Hannes as well.
Oh my God. Hey guys, so the rules for extreme slalom are pretty simple. We have 4 people that start on the top of a big ramp. Once we go down the ramp, we have downstream gates and upstream gates to navigate. And in the middle, we have a 360-degree underwater roll where we have to hold our breath. And then, the first to arrive at the bottom wins. So some of the other rules are, you're not allowed to take big paddle strokes off of people or elbow them in the face. No, we don't want any bloody noses out there, and we want everyone to have fun. I have a couple tricks that I like to use to sneak around other people. When we're in the upstream gates, I like to come in and hockey stop them out of the way so I can get out before them. And one other trick I have is I like to get behind people and hit them really hard so they'll actually spin out and I can zoom ahead to the finish. So, as you can see, the rules for extreme slalom are pretty basic. We want everyone to have fun and go out and learn your own extreme slalom tricks, and I'll see you out there.
Finals time, and it is London Women's Extreme Canoe Slalom 2019. 4 athletes, quite a lot of wind. Who's going to go forward? No doubt about who's pulling away from the field. It's very much a case of Alzu. Minazova from Russia. Looks like she's going to go home and take the victory. Could this be the first World Cup winner? I think we have one. Yay, Alzu Minazova from Russia takes the victory.
I'm Vavra Hradilek. I'm a slalom paddler. I'm an Olympian. And now I'm paddling extreme slalom. So my first memory from such a racing as extreme slalom is way back then. We used to do a boat across out on the rivers, and it was more laid back. And yeah, I mean, since it become official ICF discipline, obviously it's went more competitively, and I remember my first extreme slalom world championship in Pau, France. It was an amazing experience, and the crowd made it super special, and I think all the athletes enjoyed that a lot, and we had great memories for this one. The decision for me to whether to participate in extreme slalom wasn't hard, because I used to always take my chances, and to combine both disciplines, extreme slalom and slalom classic, is for me obviously pretty hard, but I take the challenge, and you know, it gives me a lot of energy out of that fun I'm taking. So it's pretty special for sure, and it's a dynamic sport, and there is a risk of injury, but if you approach it positively, I think you can minimize the risk. So differences between training extreme slalom and slalom, obviously it's a completely different discipline. I don't think there's much of a training yet, but of course there could be some ways how to train, for example, skimming off the start ramp and going as fast as possible off that first part, and just to you know, feel with the plastic boat, which is a little bit different. You know, the timing of the booth stroke, that's a way different thing. So that's for sure the way we could train that. I think being on the river and doing you know, the cross races and extreme races, that gave me always some special feeling for the water, and you know, I was kind of simulating the stress I could get at the slalom Olympic races, because if you're facing your competition just next to you and on the river, and you're trying to beat each other, that's always gives me a lot of stress. So it's good to practice the stress level. Well, I really hope it's gonna become an Olympic discipline, because it is a lot of excitement, not only between athletes, but also on the stadium. Spectators loved it. Let's bring it on.
Etienne Chapel, Vavra Hradilek, Sergei Mamstov and Christian de Jonge. Vavra off to a cracking start in blue on the lane left. Chapel, who's been leading the 3 races so far he's competed in, has really used his lightweight and power to pull ahead of the field. Christian de Jonge is really trying to fight up. Yes, we have a Brit who's won it.
I mean, it's not my main sport, slalom, but this sport is insane. I can't fault it. I just can't believe it, man. That's just not happening.
Lee Valley, well done. You've done yourself proud. The legacy is not only on the water. There's lots of actions going on. We've had thousands of school kids here, and everything to do with canoeing in the UK seems to be well planned, well thought out, and very well executed. Keep tuning in to Planet Canoe. Next week, the circus moves on to Bratislava, another classic course. After that, it's Tatson. So much to be looking at.